Welcome into the Pfizer Forum. I'm Eli Gain, where the Pacers now have a 3-1 series advantage, just one game away from advancing to the second round of the NBA playoffs after defeating the Bucks 129-103 in Sunday's Game 4. 8 players scoring in double figures for the Pacers. Myles Turner leading the way with 23 points. Tyrese Haliburton with 17 points, 15 assists, and 8 rebounds. The Pacers go wire to wire, coast to coast, and get the victory, although Damian Lillard had to leave the game halfway through the first quarter and had to be helped off the court and will likely miss the remainder of the series.
About Dame, tragic, and I have such great respect for him, competing all those years in the West and then last couple of years. So it's just very solemn news. So thoughts and prayers. And as far as the game, I thought our attention to detail was better in this game than the last. Our guys focused and concentrated. There were difficult stretches, but we stayed with our brand of basketball and did some very good things. And so, we've got to get home and get rested. The next game is 6 p.m. on Tuesday. It's a quick turnaround, and we're going to need to be ready, and we're going to need our fans to have Gamebridge, louder than it's ever been.
Rick, what did Myles Turner's start for you guys mean for setting the tone tonight and the way he played the rest of the way?
I just thought the team functioned so much better tonight, just in terms of our ball movement, our cutting, our passing, and those guys created problems. And Myles was in prime position to take advantage in a lot of those situations early. And defensively, we were more locked in tonight. I mean, Giannis is impossible. Let's just be honest about it. He's an impossible guy to guard. You can't guard him straight up. There's just no way. And their shooters were hitting shots tonight too, and that's scary. So, we'll have to look at the film and see what other adjustments are there, and get ready for Tuesday.
I think the Bucks cut it to 9 in that third quarter. Then T.J. McConnell led a bench group on a big run. What did you see from that second unit stretch today, and in general, T.J.'s performance? What it meant for that?
The second unit was a big key in the game. Pascal had 4 fouls. We started the team in the fourth quarter without either Ty or Pascal, which we rarely do. And those guys executed. They got good shots. They put points on the board and did a good job defensively. And when Milwaukee was scoring, we were able to answer back. So that was very important part of the game. You let these guys get on a run in this building, the place just goes crazy. I mean, it's just it's very loud.
Aaron Nesmith's plus 26 in 25 minutes, and obviously that block there towards the end of the third is massive. And just one, how big was that play just by itself? Because it sets up a Tyrese and one, but just what have you liked on both ends from him? Just everything you're getting across the board.
Yeah, we're the kind of team that needs a lot of heroes. That's the way we're built. We're built on depth. We're built on camaraderie, a connected spirit. We were more connected tonight. We needed to be. Last game, we had the second most isolations that we had the entire season last game, based on the analytic information, and that's just not us. And so we moved it much better tonight. We got in trouble a few times here and there, but overall, the spirit, the intention was correct.
So obviously I imagine you had a conversation with Jarris and Ben before the series started to say, this is just about being ready. It's going to be a different role for you guys every night. Jarris comes through 4 or 5. You get some good minutes from him against Giannis. Obviously, Ben hits a big 3. Just what have you liked about both of those guys? Just, I guess, the professionalism they've shown and how they've stepped up.
Yeah, yesterday we watched film and we had an optional thing, and so we came over with the low minute guys. So there were, I think, 7 guys, and Pargo played with them. But we organized like a real workout, and Walk participated in it because I knew that there was a chance that Matherin would not play. I saw the hit. He had trouble sleeping the night of the game, had trouble eating. I mean, those aren't good signs. And so, I don't know what his prognosis is. I know he's better today than he was yesterday, and then, each day he's doing a little bit better. But Walk worked hard yesterday. The guys helped him be ready, and he also gives us another body to throw at Giannis with some size. So, he did a very good job.
Just go about that. I mean, Giannis was 3 of 10 for 8 in the first half, and obviously, like you said, he's going to get going at some point. He's Giannis, but I mean, what did you like just across the board about what you guys did to at least slow him down for that period, even though he got going in the third?
Just got to keep trying to make it hard. We got to keep trying to make it hard. When he scores at the rim, we got to get it in quick and make him run. And we just, we're a team that's, got to play fast, got to play with persistence, and we got to try to wear down the opponent as best we can. And so anyway, he's a great player. He's one of one in terms of how he plays. There's never been a player like him. I mean, he's still appears to be very early in his prime. It's very scary. So we've got to do everything possible to make it hard.
Rick, how big of a deal is it to have an opportunity to win in front of the home crowd, obviously?
I'm not talking about any result-oriented conversation. We did better tonight because we stuck to a process of focus, playing to exhaustion, and playing together and ball movement and being more tied together defensively. And if we're going to talk about something, we'll talk about the first 5 minutes on Tuesday night. That's what we're focusing on. But as I said, I mean, we need our crowd to be the loudest it's been all year. Elimination games are always the most difficult. You've heard that cliche many times, probably too many. But that's how it's going to be, and we got to be ready.
Before y'all ask any questions, I want to send my thoughts and prayers to Dame. What you see between us is competing, and you hate to see that happen, especially to a guy who's went through a lot, and he's given it his all to come out here and play after a scary health issue. So it's well documented. The love I had for that guy, and so hate to see that happen to anybody, and wish him the best moving forward.
You talked a lot after last game about you guys being stagnant on offense. What did you feel like was better in terms of your offensive flow today as a team?
I thought we did a good job moving the ball. To be honest with you, I felt like last game we just had a bad third quarter. I thought we had to do a better job defending in the third, offensively in the third. We were on our heels a lot. But I felt like we got a lot of good shots. We just did knock them down in the first half last game. And that being said, we still went into halftime with a 10-point lead, and I feel like we kind of let our foot off the gas pedal. So, I thought we responded the right way today. Came out in the third quarter with the right energy, the right attitude, and we're able to get a win tonight.
Myles obviously made lots of shots, but the screening, the passing, the defense, what all did he mean to you guys today?
Yeah, he was big time. I think, if you ask him, he probably didn't have the game he wanted to have last game. I feel like he got a lot of good looks, just didn't knock him down. So there was no panic from us after game 3. I think we understood that we were getting a lot of good shots, especially between me and him. Both struggled last game, and so he set the tone really with a couple early buckets. And just, when you see the first couple go in as a team, it just, makes the rim bigger. And I thought we did a good job of, continuously attacking.
Certain fan interactions have gotten you going over the years. Did the overrated chance in any way fuel you these last 2 games?
Sure. A lot of these people grew up like 30 minutes away from me, so sure. It's all in fun. There's a couple of guys who get a little crazy, but that's the beautiful part about our sport. Talk shit back and forth, and how you respond. So that's the fun part about it.
Just I imagine after the last game, you talked about feeling like you left a couple on the table as far as layups and floaters and stuff like that. It seemed like you made a point to do that. Was that? I mean, did you go in there thinking, okay, there are more of those opportunities? I guess did you see more on film that you had to attack? And go
Yeah, you can say that. I mean, I still only shot 11 shots. You know, I still feel like there's probably a lot that I passed up there at the rim or in the paint. So, you know, I got to keep doing a better job. I think their game plan is to make me be a scorer. That's what it feels like. So just trying to take advantage of that, keep getting 2 feet in the paint and just making the right read, trying not to overthink the game of basketball. If I'm open, shoot it. If they collapse, find my shooter. So, you know, it's ebbs and flows of being a point guard and getting guys involved, also, you know, taking care of what I do individually. So, you know, it's part of that. And, you know, it's well documented over the last 3-4 years how that's been a struggle of mine and how something I continuously need to get better at. So I feel like I did a good job responding to that today.
You talked about in the past addresses how much AA does for you guys. I mean, that block that he sets up, that he's up for a 3-point play. Just how massive a play is that, especially going into the end of a quarter?
Yeah, I mean, that's who AA is. You know, I think what he brings doesn't always show up on the score sheet, but there's some people who say like they're willing to die for this. AA is willing to die for this, you know. He gives it his all every night, and I think every team in the NBA wants a guy like Aaron Nesmith. Every team who wins big and ultimately wins it all always has a guy like Aaron Nesmith. So love having a guy like that in our group who will give it all for us. And you know, he was really big for us tonight, and as he has been since he's come back from injury earlier this season, and he'll continue to be the rest of the year.
Obviously, Ben Schumer gives you a lot of big buckets. Obviously, TJ, Jarris, Ben, Obi. How big were those guys, and just how big was it? Just seemed like every time they made a run, you guys got a shot from somebody, whether it was a starter or a bench guy.
Yeah, I thought TJ was huge. Thought he did a great job, especially in that third quarter, late clock of just making plays. You know, that guy just somehow finds his way to get to the hoop and score layup against anybody. You know, he's unbelievable. I thought our bench unit was really good today. Walk was great. Obi was great. Ben Shepherd was great. Even Thomas Bryant in his limited minutes came in and really got on the glass. I thought we had a lot of different guys chip in tonight and make big plays, and our depth has been well documented, and I think that, you know, it's a big part of our success.
In terms of, just in terms of just talking shit, I guess you and Bobby have obviously gone back and forth. Obviously, you guys go back to World Cup and everything like that. Just, I guess, what's that been like in terms of the fun back and forth that happens in this series?
Yeah, I mean, it's basketball. It's competing. You know, I think that over the past 2 years, things have been said that there's no going back on, you know, and he's a competitor. I'm a competitor. If there's one thing I know about Bobby, he's going to compete. And I am too. So we ain't going anywhere, you know, and that's just part of the fun of playoff basketball. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants, you know, to make an impact on the game. And so that's just, you know, part of the fun of it.
Ty, how does Dame's injury change the series, if at all?
Yeah, I think we got to do, you know, a good job of still continuing to approach these games the right way. I think we also understand that with him being out, other guys are going to step up. See, KPJ shot 17 shots today. You know, we anticipate him being very aggressive. You know, with a guy like Dame going out, you know, that opens up a lot of shots for them, you know, for other guys on their team. So, you know, we got to be able to scramble, got to be able to, continue to bring our energy for 48 minutes. You know, but it's really unfortunate, you know, to see that happen. Hate to see that happen to anybody.
Y'all were up 10 at the half the other night. You're up 11 at the half tonight. What was said kind of at the halftime I mean, it seems y'all really just kind of stepped on their throats there as soon as the second half started.
Yeah, I think just going in the halftime, looking at it like a 0-0 ball game. Understand that, you know, last game, you know, our third quarter was poor, and we were poor both offensively and defensively. And I thought we did a good job of keeping pace in the game. We still, if we go back and watch film, we'll still say we played too slow in the third quarter. But that was our focus. We're in the exact same predicament 2 days ago, sorry. And so just trying to approach it the right way. And I feel like that's part of maturing. You know, a game like Game 3 is going to happen throughout a playoff series and a playoff run, and to, you know, playoff teams. And, you know, it's about how you respond. I thought we did a great job of responding the right way. And, you know, I thought the result ended the way we wanted it to.
I give my love and respect to Damian Lillard. I think it's a tragic thing that happened. You know, I mean, I think it's this time of the year, I think everybody gets so caught up in all the antics and the playoff rivalry and all that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, like, this league's a brotherhood, man. You know, there's only 450 of us, and he's always been one of my favorite competitors. You know, even since I've been in this league. So I know he has a rough road ahead, and yeah, I just personally wanted to send that out there. Just thoughts and prayers, man. And again, you just never want to see anything like that happen. You know, no matter how competitive these playoffs get.
After the game you had 2 nights ago, getting off to a strong start, what did that mean to you and the kind of tone it set for the rest of your night?
Yeah, I was aggressive offensively. You know, just pick and choose my spots. And Tyrese did a good job of giving me the ball in that middle pick and roll, and made some shots. You know, it's exactly what we talked about last game. Sometimes it's a make or miss league. You know, missed a lot of shots last game, made a lot of shots this game, and the difference was staggering.
The block on Giannis dunking, that start of the third quarter got your team kind of into it. What did those big plays mean to you and your group today?
Well, it's just that, and outside of the play itself, it's a momentum starter. You know, I think it just gets our bench going. Obviously gets gets us going on the floor, and just sparks some energy into the game. So it was a timely play.
A lot of guys use the word stagnant to describe you guys on offense in the second half 2 nights ago. What helped you guys get out of that today?
Man, just the power of moving the ball, man. I think, after watching the film of the third quarter last game, I think that we didn't necessarily take bad shots, but it just wasn't our brand of basketball. You know what I mean? I think that we did an amazing job of moving the ball tonight, and when the ball hums like that, great things happen for us.
You talked about, you used the term timing play. I guess, how did you, kind of figure out your timing in terms of how to guard Giannis and how to block shots at the rim and how to take away some of his opportunities? There's other guys as well, but I mean, just over the course of playing and how to deal with a guy like that over the course of 3, 4, 5 games in a series.
Yeah, it's
what
just,
did you figure out about that?
I think it's just experience. I mean, I've been guarding him for a long time, and he's gotten the better of me, quite a bit. But the studying film and the studying tendencies, I think that's a big part of it. Once you're actually out there in the fire, you either sink or swim. I think I've started to figure some things out, but at the same time, and he's still a great player. Just as you figure one thing out one night doesn't mean it's gonna be the same the next night. So, yeah, we just got to continue to keep mixing it up, and yeah.
I guess how just important is it just to bring more force to it, of everything else, just to kind of bring, be more aggressive, go at him. Obviously he's a powerful guy, but I mean, did you view that as one of the most important things you had to do on both ends?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to fight fire with fire. I think that you have to bring the fight to him at times, and go at him defensively as well. And I think as a whole, we don't have to hunt anybody. I think the way we move the ball and the way our offense is set up, it could be anybody's night.
I guess on the flip side of that, I mean, how important was it to find some matchups early? It seemed like you were able to get some small guys on you to get started. How big was that piece to kind of find some switches, find some opportunities where there were guys that you could?
Yeah, just being intentional. Running the floor. I think when you run the floor at times and get out, at times guards have to take you. And even if I don't get the ball, it makes guys have to look in and guys get to shots on perimeter and whatnot. So just continuing just to just mix it up, run the floor, and just within the flow of our offense.
Speaking.
It felt like Tyrese, just instead of sort of dribbling the ball up the court more, when you got off it, you guys found him later in the possession. Just kind of what did that open up for you guys on offense, and was that an intentional adjustment for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, him having to break it up full court with guys like Trent or Porter Jr. or whoever guarding him, it can be a lot of them at times. So if he's able to get off the ball and have a running start to the ball, he's able to get downhill. I mean, they're very intentional about sending him to his left hand. So just going with the flow of things. If he's able to get downhill with his left and draw attention, it does nothing but help us out within our offense.
Y'all went on a run right after Dame went out. When you're an opposing player, what goes through your mind when you see something like that happening to somebody on the other team?
It's very disheartening. As immediately once he kind of looked back, I think we all kind of knew what it was, and it's just it's a weird feeling to describe because you have to still compete, you have to get out there, but again, you just never want to see that happen to another athlete that puts in as much time as he does, into his craft, into his game, and just like we all do. So, yeah, it's very disheartening. But it happens fast. It's a playoffs. You have to be able to move on, and I can imagine how his team felt.
Myles, these fans, obviously there's a bunch of Pacers fans that came out to support you guys. Mm-hmm. The Deer Hunters that were out here again. I mean, to see this rivalry and see these fans embrace this thing like that, how cool is that?
Yeah, that's the word for it right there. Embrace it. I think that coming into hostile territory at times, it's you do kind of try to find your tribe a bit, and then you'll have a big player, a big three, and the guys on the bench or fans on the bench are yelling. And it's we feel like you're so you're in it together, if you will. We know we have each other on the bench, but when we have that support out there, it's amazing. To travel 3 hours, or there's no direct flights to Milwaukee, so I know it takes a minute to get here. Man, it's love.
I want to ask you about Aaron's block. How big of a deal was that? I guess right in the third quarter.
He sacrificed himself, man. I think that he landing on your back like that's not fun, but it sparked a big play for us, and that's just not new, for him. It's very on par for what Aaron Neesmith brings to our team. Just a hard-nosed guy, and I think he does an amazing job of just selling out. I think he'll just go out there and just put his body, life on the line for the team.
Coming up next, Tony East from Locked On Pacers will be joining me to talk more about the game. And also, we got a quick one-on-one after the game with Obi Toppin, who finished with a pretty good game as well. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Joined now with Tony East of Locked On Pacers. And Tony, after Game 3 on Friday night, we talked about how not so great that second half was for the Pacers. Night and day comparison in Sunday's Game 4. What did you like about it overall?
Oh my gosh, they did everything better. Rick Carlisle just told us that something he hated that they didn't like after Game 3 was their second biggest isolation number of the season. And this game, all that was gone. The ball movement was crisp like it was in the first two games. And what stood out to me after games 1 and 2 is the Pacers got whatever shot they wanted for almost 48 minutes of those games. That was back today. I think that really stood out. Is even when the Bucks were hitting their hardest, they couldn't get closer than 9 or 10 points because the Pacers could consistently score. That happened both halves and kept going into the second half, which was when they really struggled 2 nights ago.
And it was kind of the significant moment midway through that first quarter. Of course, Damian Lillard goes down. Energy sort of leaves this building. Let's address that, how that sort of affected just, I guess, all of us, but also, we even heard the players talk about how it affected them when he had to leave the court.
Yeah, Myles Turner says it's a brotherhood, right? Everybody in the league, they're on NBA contracts. They all feel for each other. And for a guy who's one of the top 75 players in the NBA 75, you just hate to see that. And it will certainly impact the series in a major way. Even though he wasn't making shots, just his mere existence puts pressure on the Pacers defense. And he defended really well, I thought, in Game 3. He's obviously a tremendous player. I don't have to explain Damian Lillard to anybody, but that is obviously a huge absence for the Bucks, and it sucked all the air out of this building. The Bucks bench, not quite shell-shocked, but you could just see the deflation come out of them, that one of their star players hurt again for the second year in a row in the series. Just terrible. All the Pacers had warm messages for him in their post-game press conferences because they know it could be something significant.
And Turner also said that during a moment like that in the game, you feel for him, but it's kind of a weird feeling because you got to be competitive as well. So after that happens, you have to gather your thoughts, and then right from there, specifically Turner, he sort of took over in the beginning of this game, and that carried throughout. Talk about his performance.
Yeah, I asked him about last game and the shots he had. Did he like them? Was he just missing? He said, "Oh yeah, I want those again." And today, oh yeah, he made them. He emphatic plays both halves. His 4 blocks felt like 10 because they were so important to the flow of the game. His dunk to start the second half over Giannis changed the momentum of everything after the Bucks scored to start the half, and he made those shots in the mid-post that he's been getting all series long because the Bucks are kind of willing to live with that. When he's hitting like that and when he's making the passes he can make in the mid-post, setting hard screens, he just looks incredible. And very few teams have someone who can be a 3-and-D presence like Myles Turner. I thought he'd be the X factor before the series. His worst game is the Pacers' only loss in the series. He was absolutely fantastic in this game, and the Bucks couldn't figure out what to do. If they guard him too much, they're leaving someone else open, and everybody was hitting threes for the Pacers today for a reason.
Yep, that's a great segue, too. So we talk about you. Guys like T.J. McConnell contributing, Obi Toppin contributing, everyone. 8 players scoring in double figures here. That's some fun basketball to watch, and I think when the Pacers are able to do that, that's going to lead to some momentum going into this next game. But just overall, the guys just balled out when they needed to.
Absolutely. Yeah, 8 in double figures is huge, and unlikely double-digit scores had really efficient nights. Jarris Walker made threes. T.J. McConnell made a 3. I think it was the first one he even took in the whole series. And, that was the most significant stretch of the game to me. The Bucks were within 9, I believe, in the third quarter. They were still down a lot, but chipping at it. The Pacers bench had their best stretch of the game. McConnell hit 2 shots, corner 3 right next to us from Shepherd, and then Obi Toppin, and all of a sudden they're back up 15. The floodgates open, and they ran away with it. The bench hadn't had a really dominant stretch like that the whole series, but that spoke to the balance they had today. Everybody was scoring, and even in down stretches, they were able to get flowing with whoever was on the floor.
Now, Rick Carlisle said after the game, the toughest game to win is usually one that you have to close out in a series. It's going to be at home. What are you anticipating Tuesday night at Cambridge?
Yeah, they played this same Bucks team last year in a Game 5. Granted, it was here instead of Indiana, but they lost with Dame not playing, right? They had significant absences last year, and they couldn't do it. At home will help. But it's going to be tough, right? Teams are desperate. They're fighting for their life. They're hoping they can get back here to play a Game 6. Giannis Antetokounmpo is amazing. It is not going to be easy at all. The Pacers fought off elimination against the Knicks last year in Games 6 and 7. I mean, it's going to be extremely tough. They'll feel good about being at home. They haven't lost a home game with Tyrese Haliburton in the playoffs ever. They'll feel good about having 2 chances at home and 3 games to win 1. But it will be extremely hard, as they found out the good way and the bad way last year to close out this Bucks team.
All right, well, it's been a pleasure spending the weekend with you. Thanks for joining us as always. And then, of course, we'll see you Tuesday night as the Pacers are looking to wrap up the opening round of the series against the Bucks. Again, that's Tuesday at 6. For Tony East, I'm Eli Gain. We'll be right back. All right, Obi Toppin joining me here. I know you guys really wanted to get back onto the floor, especially after that second half in Friday's Game 3. How good did it feel to get out here, set the tone from the very start, and kind of just do what you guys do?
Oh, the second half you're talking about? Yeah, we knew we came out terrible last game in the second half. We had the mindset that we was coming into it even score, even though we was up. We had to come in with the same intensity we started the game with and just finish off like that. So.
Now you got a chance to close this thing out at home this week. How crucial is it going to be to just focus in and get it done on your home court and protect it?
Nah, definitely. Closing game is always the hardest one, but we have the best fans in the country at Indiana, and so when we get back home, we're going to hear them, and I know they're going to hear them too, so we can't wait to get back and play in front of our fans again. So
I know that's a big advantage, but also this performance that you guys had here, how do you build off of that momentum and just carry that into the next 24, 48 hours?
We just got to go back, watch film, learn from the mistakes that we made in this game. This game wasn't perfect. We made some mistakes here and there, but we're going to go back, learn from those, and be prepared for Game 5 in Indiana.
I think 7 or 8 of you guys scored in double figures,
Yeah.
Everyone contributing. How dangerous is this team when you guys can do that?
Yeah, we got depth, and everybody on our team can have a scoring night or a good scoring night any given night. So we trust everybody on this team, and we have a great leader in Ty, Pascal, and Myles who keep us on track and help us get these wins. So,
Yes, get them, Obi. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. All right, good deal. All right, so Pacers taking a 3-1 series advantage. They return home to Gainbridge Fieldhouse on Tuesday night. Tip-off scheduled for 6. In Milwaukee, I'm Eli Gain for 13 Sports.